Uh-oh, we're in trouble. What's your name? What's your name?
Touch that, please.
You don't touch the, don't touch
Don't come on our property.
Don't. Oh boy, looks like we found a new friend up in Splendora. Don't touch the equipment.
Hey,
Don't,
you need to
I'm not touching anybody. Don't touch the
You
equipment.
need to get out of here.
Well, we're leaving.
You need to get out of here.
Her name is Paula Bishop. And that guy, he's her husband, Travis Bishop, the former Texas lawman who's found a lucrative new career. From running tow trucks to accident scenes to chemical spills that often shut down our freeways.
A big mess on the Gulf Freeway, as you can see there. All of the inbound lanes at Alameda Genoa have been closed down. You can see all the flashing lights there.
There's a ton of money in that hazmat cleanup business because insurance companies, they usually get hit with the bill. Bishop even has a lucrative contract with the Texas Department of Transportation. Travis Bishop, just the guy I wanted to see. He's a familiar face in eastern Montgomery County because for 20 years, he was the law. Maybe you remember some of the troubling headlines Bishop made as the constable up there. His office lost drugs from the property room. Are you waiting? 17 pounds of cocaine simply went poof, worth more than $1 million. There were allegations then Constable Bishop directed bail bond business to his sister. This law enforcement stuff runs deep in the Bishop family. In 2008, Travis and his son Cole both ran for the same constable job in different political primaries. His son was accused of theft that year for stealing his daddy's opponent's political signs, and they both lost. And now there's trouble again for the Bishop family. A criminal investigation into possible fraud.
We have been contacted by a state agency, yes.
And so you're investigating with them?
We're cooperating with them.
That state agency, it's the Comptroller's Criminal Investigations Division. And it's records that we found that's triggered their investigation. You cheating the taxpayers?
I don't cheat nobody.
Bishop runs a lot of companies, one called Hazmat International, headquartered in Conroe. They own the trucks used by tow companies with lots of different names in Montgomery County that are all run by the same family. Bishop's partner is Dustin Rutherford, and yep, he's a lawman too, a reserve captain at Precinct 1 and Travis Bishop's nephew. Competitors claim their law enforcement background is earning them special favors on the freeways. And we now have cell phone videos of the growing number of confrontations.
You're welcome to stay there and watch whatever you want to do, but you're not going to unload equipment. You're not going to be doing anything. If you want to waste your time here, instead of maybe going and getting other work or whatever you got to do, I'm just looking out for you because you're going to waste your time.
The state has never had a problem with me. You may have a problem with me.
Maybe the state hasn't had a problem with the Bishop clan because no one has bothered to take a closer look at this. The amount of motor vehicle taxes paid on some of those fancy and very expensive tow trucks, like this one. HMI told the state it cost $193,000, but they failed to report they bought an expensive tow bed at the very same time. And we know that because our investigators tracked the truck records back to the very place where it was bought, Rocky Mountain Record Sales in Salt Lake. Look at the actual receipt. It shows the total sales price was $740,000, more than $500,000 more than what was reported. We found discrepancies in other trucks too. We got the receipts of the actual vehicles. There's a big difference in the money.
You got to file something someplace, go file it.
We already had to the state comptroller's office. We also checked out records from the Splendora Police Department because we found out they had spotted something funny too. Splendora had received applications from 19 different tow companies who all wanted to be part of the new rotation in the city for record calls. Like everyone else in Montgomery County, Splendora wanted to put an end to that speeding tow truck competition, rushing to get to accident scenes.
Take a look at this. One single Dodge car is disabled on Rayford Sawdust Road near the Woodlands Wednesday night. And count them, 19 tow trucks show up for one vehicle.
And in Splendora, each company had to sign this government document, declaring they had no financial interest in any other tow truck company on the list. That way no one would get away with scamming the system, trying to stack the tow truck debt.
We don't want to show favoritism towards anybody, so the only way to do that is to be fair and consistent to everybody across the board.
Here's a few of the documents now under investigation. Travis Bishop, he signed for a company called Range 3. Callie Stidham signed for HMI Heavy Recovery. She's Travis's daughter. Nephew Dustin Rutherford signed for All Points. These three companies have now been rejected by Splendora police for allegedly falsely claiming there was no shared ownership. Has any of this stuff been now turned over to the DA?
No, because it's still been under review in certain aspects of the city.
A fourth company has been turned down by the city of Splendora too, after an investigation by the city attorney. Bug towing. And that's why we went snooping around this giant storage facility off Highway 59 in Splendora, looking for the folks from Bug Towing. We saw a bunch of other companies, and we at first called the phone number on the Bug Towing application for some directions. I'm looking for Candace Love.
Candace Love. I think you have the wrong number.
Oh, so what office am I calling in? I'm confused now.
This is All Points.
We figured the manager of Bug Towing could clear up all the confusion. Her name, Candace Love, another one of Travis Bishop's daughters. A former employee had told us that she had actually been told to impersonate Love to get a state license.
I can't think of the address right now. I don't know the exact address off the top of my head.
How long have you owned Bug Towing?
For about a week.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is because when I call the number, they don't even know who you are, and I just found that weird. And when I asked the company, they said that it was All Points Towing. Maybe Candace doesn't know the address of her own company because she had created it just a week before. But that doesn't explain the phone number problem. And then when I asked who they were, they say All Points. Who's All Points?
All Points? I don't know.
I'm sorry, dear. I can't hear you.
I don't know I don't know who All Points is.
You don't know who All Points is?
No.
That's funny. Maybe your cousin Dustin just hasn't mentioned the name of the company, even though it's got a storage yard at the very same address as Bug Towing. What a family affair.
Well, I just don't feel like I need to answer any of these questions for you.
That led us up a hill beyond the storage yards where we ran into, guess who? Travis Bishop, who denied knowing anything about any investigation.
I mean, they're listed the same way with the county and we operate fine.
When Montgomery County created a rotation system for tow trucks this year, the ordinance seemed simple. Two or more towing companies sharing common ownership may not appear as two towing companies on the rotation.
That protects the small companies from being absorbed or being put out of business because somebody has a big pocket full of money.
But the way the ordinance was written up in Conroe, it had more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And I'm being kind. And when we tried to expose the same towing game being played up there, the reaction was, who cares? Let me play the ordinance. So I could put my secretary on one company, my maid on a second company, my lawn guy on a third company, and as far as you're concerned, that's cool.
It's not my concern. It's the ordinance as passed by Commissioner's Court, and that ordinance is being reviewed by the authors of it, and so far, The information that we're getting from them is that it is within the bounds of the ordinance.
You know who else doesn't seem to care? The Texas Department of Transportation. We've been investigating for months the relationship between Bishop's companies, those former cops, and those TxDOT guys on accident scenes. After nearly 6 months, I'll be honest, I can't tell whether the folks at TxDOT are illegally hiding records from us or simply work for the most incompetent state agency I've ever investigated. And there's a long list of those, so stay tuned.
What you're looking at here, flashing lights on the inbound lanes at Thompson. This is a hazmat spill that actually happened just after 1 o'clock this morning. Traffic in the area is still blocked off.
So the next time the freeway is shut down, I know it's going to be a big inconvenience for you, but I bet it's going to be a big payday for the folks at Hazmat International and my other new buddy, Travis Bishop. Hey, Travis. Don't touch him, man. Hey, Travis.
Okay?
I didn't touch him. Travis.
Get out of my
Out.
We're getting out, honey. Just give me a minute.
Do you want to call the police and have them escorted out of my office?
Call him. Call him. Call him.
Get him. Go ahead.
Call him. That was friendly.